Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. Today, I'll be doing a quick unboxing, assembly, and kind of just, running through its paces, one of these Vyper fans. Now, you may have seen advertisements on Facebook or YouTube and a number of other places for their chairs, but they also have a fan, and I couldn't really find any videos on the fan. And as I only have this single fan for my garage here in South Texas, it gets hot. This thing works pretty good, but it's pretty loud. And I can't really film anything with this thing running, so if I'm assembling something and trying to film it, I can't record anything because this thing, you just hear fan noise. Now, I picked up this fan. It's relatively expensive, and as I said, I haven't seen any videos for it, so I figured, might as well bite the bullet, pick this up, and we'll put it together, see if it's, worth the money, and if it lives up to the advertisement hype of the Vyper brand. Vyper Industrial or whatever. Now, it says fragile on it, and I got it. The box is pretty beat. I've just ripped the top tape off, nothing else. And I just kind of poked in here, and it seems encased in styrofoam, so I'm hoping it's good, not beat up. And you see the grill guards here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my camera situated. We'll go ahead and get this thing unboxed and we'll put it together, and then we'll see, hey, is it worth, the few $100+ that this thing costs, or, is it just like a fancier fan you could buy from Walmart? So yeah, we'll go ahead and get into this. All right, well, hopefully still good. Seems relatively packaged up pretty good. And we have the grill, front and back. Make sure you don't put your finger in the metal blade, or you might not have a finger. Motor is a little bit banged up, but it should work fine. I don't see any actual, damage that might cause problems. All the parts are laid out, pretty straightforward. It looks pretty simple. They gave you instruction book and a sticker, and for some reason it looks like my book and my sticker has suffered a gunshot wound or something, and there's a hole blasted straight through everything, so that's kind of weird. But yeah, looking at the instructions, pretty simple. We're gonna put these legs into the little tripod looking fixture, and then we'll have the legs assembled, and then we can attach the motor assembly to the legs. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock that out real quick. And it looks like you just need a 10mm and socket, and go ahead and get this stuff put together. Now that we have the legs put together, real straightforward, we're gonna go ahead and attach the motor and its little mount right here. And then it looks like you just tighten the little hand mechanism and we can tighten it in place once we lower it to the position that we want. Also to note, they do provide a wall mount option in the box. So if you wanted to attach your motor, your fan unit, instead of to the legs here, you can actually mount it to drywall or concrete and then have it, mounted up on your wall for, higher wind flow or whatever, versus going with, a stand that takes up more space of your shop or garage. Now we're gonna go ahead and attach the rear screen, and it's just 4 Phillips or flathead bolts or the combo bolts. You wanna go ahead and remove these. And with those removed, you can go ahead and mount your rear piece, and you can tell this is the rear one because it doesn't have that front logo or anything fancy on it.
I'm just trying to start now.
And next up, we're gonna go ahead and get the blade attached. Fan blade here, and you want the long portion here facing the motor. And you can see here, there's almost like a large set screw, and you want the large set screw to be lined up with the flat portion of the motor shaft here, which is, for me, it's over here. And we'll go ahead and just line it up. And then we will tighten the set screw into the flat portion of the shaft here. And we'll make sure it doesn't fly off. Well, it seems pretty tight. From here, we're gonna move on and attach the front mesh piece, and then we should mostly be done. Real quick, wanted to point out, the instructions actually says there's 2 set screws, but I'm not sure if they're just outdated because there's only one place for 1 set screw to attach the fan blade to the shaft here. So, like I said, just to make note of that. And then we got the front guard here. You want to just attach this so that, you probably want your logo being the correct orientation. Which I guess is about around there. And then we want to just go ahead and we'll swivel these little lock tabs in place to lock the meshes together, front and back. Here's a quick kind of comparison so you can get an idea of the size of this thing. I'm taller than it, but it's it's pretty decently tall. It is pretty heavy. It's probably heavier than my big barrel fan that I have. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to maneuver this thing around. And everything's together. I snapped these clips together. And you can kind of maneuver it. Has an oscillation feature. And it does indicate 110, 220, so I'm guessing it can use both to some, we'll have to, it does kind of just move around by itself a little bit. But we'll go ahead and plug this thing in and see what we get. And that is on 30. So you can turn it off. And give you some ideas of the noise levels. Pretty much standing next to the camera, and you can get an idea of the sound levels here. Let's see if I can tilt it back a little bit. Okay, there is an adjustment with these two. It's like a big bolt and nut, and then you can actually adjust how it tilts. I'm gonna actually tilt this back, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab the tools for that, and then we will get this adjusted. Here is setting 20. Settings go all the way to 100, so this is only 1/5 the way up. If we jump it up to 40, and it definitely, I mean, even at 40, it's relatively quiet, and I'm feeling the wind pretty good. We'll go ahead and jump it up to 60. There you go for the sound. A little bit louder, but not horrible. Wind flow is, the airflow overall is real good. We get to 80. And then we will do max power. Nice breeze. It's definitely kind of louder. It's not a horrible sound. I mean, it is pushing a ton of air. And yeah, so that's just a quick idea of some of the wind speeds here. We'll go over some of the feature sets here in a moment. We're gonna go over the various feature sets real quick and the controls here. Real quick, we'll start with, of course, this is the height adjustment knob if you're using either of the wall mount or if you're using this frame mount install. Pretty much you just loosen this up, you can slide the pole here up and down, and it's just really kind of a big set screw that kind of just drives into the side of the shaft here. Downside of that is it does scratch it up, so if you know moving it here to lower it, and then you move it back, you want to raise it back up, you'll see some scratches that will be occurring on this little paint job they have here. So after that, we'll go ahead and move over to, this is the tilt adjustment. Very awkward. I mean, it's strong, so once you get this thing set, it should not move. As you can see here, they just have a pretty much one of these alligator looking clamp things. This just clamps these little, I guess these are punch outs of the little frame here. And then these clamp between these little alligator teeth here. And so to tilt this, you have to remove this bolt, pretty much manhandle this kind of heavy motor, lean it back, and then fit the bolt through here, and then tighten it in place, and it's pretty much locked in place. It took me a couple minutes to get this thing kind of a little bit raised up because it was tilting downwards. And so just keep that in mind. Probably a two-man job really to do this well, to get it dialed in how you want it. And the adjustments aren't, I mean, there's no fine adjustments on the tilt. As you can see here, the space between each tilt that you can lock in is kind of a decent gap. So if you want it perfectly, just a little bit more or up, you're gonna have to go to the next setting. So just keep that in mind. Here is the pulse width modulated, fine dial here for your fan speed. It goes from, it says 0 to 10, but really it looks like it's a little past 10 before it actually kicks on. There's no adjustment. You can't actually snap it below that. So there is no one setting. This is the lowest speed right here, which does put out a decent amount of air. I'll probably run it like 30 or 50 or something like that usually, unless it's really hot. And this is the oscillation control. This is probably the only cheapy looking part on this whole fan. Everything else is industrial, super durable. I mean, you could probably put this in like a big Gold's Gym or whatever up on the wall, set it and forget it and leave it there for 5-10 years, and you probably will not have to worry about this thing having any issues other than spraying dust out of it. This is the only thing, it's kind of a cheap plastic little nub. It kind of has some movement play. So at first I thought the oscillation wasn't going right, but you actually have to clamp it in there. You push it all the way down. It oscillates using this kind of a pulley mechanism. Keep in mind, the speed that it will oscillate is based on your fan speed. Higher fan speed, it'll oscillate faster. Lower, it'll actually oscillate a little bit less. And you can see here, it doesn't have a big range of motion. I don't know what it is, maybe 30 degrees or something like that. So, I mean, it's good if it's in a corner of your shop and you want to hit the whole shop, but if you want to hit a wider area closer, you're not probably going to be able to hit it because the oscillation is just, it's this nice mechanism. It's very durable looking, very easy to work on, but it limits your overall range of oscillation. Now, as I mentioned, I pull it up, I'm like, okay, it's not. No, you actually have to pull it up until it clips a whole nother level. So there is some play in there. Just make sure you get it to the right setting. And then they have this cool feature called natural wind. You click that. This will cause this thing to blink, this light here, and this will actually vary the speed between, I think it's like 600 and 1200, and it'll actually vary it automatically to replicate kind of a natural wind effect. Kind of cool if you want more of a, you want to feel a nice breeze and then you kind of have it kind of flow and ebb, then, that's kind of a cool setting. Sounds like it's ramping it up. Like, I guess it decides it needs to be real windy right now, but so that's if you want to have a natural wind effect. When you have that mode set right here, the natural wind mode, you actually, it completely ignores the dial here. So if you want to fine tune what exactly you want, use the dial. If you want natural wind, click the button. Solid green means it's the normal button, and blinks if it's doing natural wind. Now, really that kind of wraps it up. It's a nice looking fan, nice industrial look. And, I'm probably gonna have some good use with it. It's, puts out a ton of air. The sound is pretty good. And, it's quieter than my big barrel fan over here. This one puts out a good amount of air just because of its size, but because of the design, this thing is like a jet engine, even on medium, whereas this, it has a higher pitch sound, but it's not as booming. So really kind of, get what you pay for. This thing, I'm already having issues with its tilt mechanism. It's all kind of plastic and held together. So I'm sure those will break and I'll have to weld something or do something to hold this, because if I try to tilt this thing, it'll flop over. This thing looks like it's freaking made for the apocalypse. So, like everything, this is much cheaper, probably half the price or less than this. This will probably last much longer and I'll have less, tinkering I'll have to do with it. So, it depends on how much you want your fan, how much air you want. I hope to get AC in here one day, but that's gonna be probably down the road. So really my only option for now is a couple fans to keep this thing cool, because it is 100 degrees out right now, so my garage is very hot. Now, for anybody who has been following my channel outside of just the fan, I have piles. This is all parts and stuff of projects I'm gonna be recording and doing here pretty soon. Swiss Tracks garage flooring, I'll be doing a video on that. I have actually some outdoor, I guess they're almost like tiles you lay down, the grass can grow through them, you fill it with the soil, you can actually drive your car on your yard and without actually causing ruts. I'll have a video on that. And I'll give you a little sneak preview of another Vyper product right here. I'll be doing a video on this, and tons of stuff coming for the car. Had a little mishap with my carbon fiber trunk, just got it fixed. I'm gonna be putting that back on here, and I'll be getting that carbon fiber trunk out video hopefully out Monday, Tuesday. And I'll be doing the chair install for the Vyper chair probably today or tomorrow, so stay tuned. And as always, feel free to like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. I'll try to get these videos out a little bit quicker. I had a kind of a few weeks where I had a bunch of just, mishaps and work to do, scratching up my trunk and some other stuff. So sorry for the delays. Hopefully I'm gonna get back on track and we get some more videos out. So as always, have a good one, and peace.